everyone, welcome back to my channel NCERT Maths with Bardeep. Today we are going to start a new chapter of your grade 8 maths, that is chapter number 13, direct and inverse proportion. So this is basically an introduction video in which I'll explain what is to be covered in this chapter. First of all, we have already learned what is ratio and proportion in your 7th grade. So ratio is comparison of any two quantities. Suppose I am saying that we have 10 boys in a class and 30 girls in a class. So what is the ratio of boys with girls? That we can write 10 over 30. So this is 1 by 3, or we will read it as 1:3. So that means the number of girls are 3 times as the number of boys in the class. So ratio is comparison of any two quantities. But what is proportion? Proportion is basically when we are discussing about equivalent ratios. Any two ratios, when they are equal, they are said to be equivalent, or they are said to be in proportion. Suppose I am saying we have one ratio as 2 by 3 and second ratio as 4 by 6. These two ratios are said to be in proportion if they are equivalent. So equivalent means, suppose you cancel this, so it can be also equal to 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 and 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 and 4 by 6 are in proportion. But how to calculate whether the given ratios are in proportion or not? So what we will do is 2 by 3 should be equal to 4 by 6. You cross multiply them, and if the values are equal, then we can say the data is in proportion. So 2 into 6 on this side, 3 into 4 on this side. So 12 is equal to 12. Two ratios are said to be in proportion if they are equivalent ratios. Or we can say that if we take two ratios as A over B and C over D, then if you cross multiply them and product of A with D, that is AD, and product of B with C, that is BC, if AD is equal to BC, then we can say that A over B and C over D are in proportion. Okay, so this proportion is further categorized into two types, that is direct proportion and indirect proportion. So we will discuss both type of proportion in this chapter. So let's move on to the first topic, that is direct proportion. So let's first discuss direct proportion. In this proportion we consider two quantities and we will see how these quantities are related. Suppose I have purchased a pen for rupees 10. Okay, so let us write. So cost of one pen, suppose rupees 10. Okay, if I buy more number of pens, that is if I purchase 10 pens, then how much money I have to pay? That is 10 into 10, 100 rupees. Okay, if I buy 100 pens, then it should be 10 into 100, that is 1000 rupees. Okay, if I buy only 2 pens, then price should be 2 into 10, 20 rupees. So what we can see is, if number of pens, here I will write number of pens and here it is price. If number of pens are 10, price is 100. If number of pens are 100, price is 1000. Okay. If number of pens are only 2, price is 20. So we can analyze from here. If you compare these two values, if your number of pens are increasing, price is also increasing. If we compare these two, 10 to 2, if number of pens are decreasing, this value is also decreasing. So that means we have two quantities like X and Y. If one increases, second also increases. Okay, if one is increasing, second is also increasing, or if one is decreasing, is also decreasing. So that means both quantities are going in the same direction. If one is increasing, second is also increasing. If one is decreasing, second is also decreasing. If both quantities are going in the same direction, that quantities are said to be in direct proportion. So let's make it more clear with another example. Suppose I have one car in which I say that if I uses 5 liter of petrol, it will cover 100 kilometers. Okay. So what if I will use 10 liters? Okay. If I use 10 liters, it will be 200 kilometers. And what if I use only 2 liters? Then it will be 40 kilometers. So again you will compare these two values. If this value is increasing, this is also increasing. Okay. But if you compare these two, if 5 to 2, if one quantity is decreasing, here it is 100 to 40. Second is also decreasing. So this means this data is also in direct proportion. Also, suppose in a bank, if we put or if we deposit some money, we will get interest by the end of the year. If this amount is increased, interest will also increase. If this amount is less, then interest that the bank will give us, that is also less. So overall we can say that any two quantities which increase or decrease in the same direction, that data is said to be in direct proportion. So we can see from here that what is constant? That means x over y is always constant for any data to be in direct proportion. So we can check from here. If I take this as x, this as y. So 5 over 100. Okay. So 5 over 100 means 1 by 20. If you check this, 10 by 200. Okay. So 10 by 200 means again 0 0 will be cancelled. So this is 1 by 20. Here also you can check 2 by 40. Okay. So 2 by 40 is again 1 by 20. So we can derive from this that any data to be in direct proportion if and only if their ratio is constant. So x by y should be constant for any data to be in direct proportion. So now let's derive the formula for the data to be in direct proportion. Since x by y is equal to constant, let it be k. So this implies that x is equal to k times y. Okay. Suppose we are taking any two quantities, let it be. Okay. So let us take here as x and y. This as x1. Corresponding value is y1. So for x2, corresponding value is y2. So here we can see that x should be equal to constant times y. So means for x1 it should be k times y1. For x2 it should be k times y2. Since both values are same, so if we put the values, that is x1 is equal to k times y1, x2 is equal to k times y2. If we divide them, we can say that x1 over x2 is equal to k times y1 over k times y2. Since k is any constant, it will be cancelled. So our formula for two quantities to be in direct proportion is x1 over x2 is equal to y1 over y2, where y1 and y2 are the corresponding values for x1 and x2 respectively. So what basically I am trying to explain is that in the questions that you will solve in this chapter, you are given with this type of table. In these four values, one is always missing, and how to find that value? We will use this formula, that is x1 by x2 is equal to y1 over y2. So we will put the three values and find the missing one. So this is our direct proportion. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is indirect proportion. So now let's see what is indirect proportion or inverse proportion as is given in your chapter. So it is same thing whether you use indirect or inverse proportion. So now let's see what is inverse proportion. So inverse proportion is just the opposite of direct proportion, in which we can say that if one quantity is increasing, the other one will decrease, or if one quantity is decreasing, other one will increase. If both quantities are going in the opposite directions, then we can say that these quantities are inversely proportional. So let's see few examples. First one is, suppose I have to cover 100 kilometers, and if I am moving with the speed of 20 kilometer per hour, that means I will take 5 hours. Let's write it. Suppose distance is fixed, that is 100 kilometers. Okay, if your speed is 20 kilometer per hour, then how much time we will take? That is 100 by 20, so this means 5 hours. Okay, so if I increase the speed, then let's see, if speed is 50 kilometer per hour, okay, then what is the time? 100 by 50, that means 2 hours. If I reduce the speed, that is from 20, if I reduce the speed at 10 kilometer per hour, so 100 by 10, that means 10 hours is required. So now we will analyze this. If 20 to 50, that means if this quantity is increasing, corresponding time is decreasing. If we consider this 20 and 10, if it is decreasing, see, time is increasing. So that means if speed is increasing, time is decreasing. If speed is decreased, then time will be increased. So one quantity is increasing and the other quantity is decreasing. So this type of data is inverse proportion. So let's see one more example. Suppose I have one pizza. Okay. If I have to divide this pizza with 4 persons, so that means each will get 1 quarter. Okay. If the same pizza is to be distributed among 8 persons, so we can see per head slice will be lesser. So that means if number of persons are less, share will be more. If number of persons are more, then share that each person will get is less. So again we can see, if number of persons are increased, share will be decreased. If number of persons are more, share will be less. If number of persons are less, share will be more. So this type of data is also in inverse proportion. So let's see one more example. Suppose I have to construct one house, okay, and I have only 4 laborers and they will finish the work in 3 months, okay. Same thing, if we have more workers, then more work will be done in 1 day and time will be reduced. So that means then the same job or the same work can be done in less number of days. But if I have less number of works, since the same work is to be finished, so they will do the same work in more number of days. So that means if number of persons are more, work will be finished in less time. If number of persons are less, then work is finished in more time. So this type of data is also in inverse proportion. So now let's derive the formula for this. In direct proportion, I have already explained that the ratio is constant. Okay. So now we will see what is constant in this. Suppose we multiply this 20 with 5, I will get 100. Okay. So 50 with 2, then also 100. 10 into 10, then also 100. That means here product of the two quantities is constant. So if I have two quantities, suppose x and y, so what is constant? That is x into y is always constant. Okay, so in direct proportion it was their ratio as constant, and here in indirect proportion x into y is constant. Okay, so let's derive the formula from this. Here again x1 and y1 as one row of the table, x2 and y2 as another data. Okay, so for this data to be in indirect or inverse proportion, their product should be constant. So that means x1 into y1 should be constant. Okay, so let this be k, and then x2 into y2 should also be equal to k. So now since both are equal to k, we can equate them. So x1 into y1 should be equal to x2 into y2. So now see, I have taken this as x1 over x2. I want same for this also. So see, x2 is here. I'll shift this to this side. So this will be x1 into y1 over x2 is equal to y2. So now this y1 should go to other side. So it will be x1 over x2 is equal to y2 over y1. So this is the formula for inverse proportion. So now you can see what is the difference here. X1 over x2 is same in both the cases, but difference is with this y. For direct proportion, so corresponding values are taken, that is for x1 in numerator, y1 should also be in numerator. x2 in denominator, its corresponding value should also be in denominator. But in case of indirect proportion, this is the opposite. For x1 in numerator, its corresponding value will go in denominator. For x2 in denominator, y2 will be in numerator, means in the opposite direction. So if the data is in inverse proportion, we will use x1 over y1 is equal to y2 over y1, and if the data is in direct proportion, then x1 by x2 is equal to y1 over y2. So this is how to use the formula to find the missing values in the given questions that we are going to solve in this chapter. This chapter is going to be very easy if you are able to understand whether this question is of direct proportion or inverse proportion. And how to do that? It's very simple. Read your question, analyze it, and see if the given two quantities are increasing or decreasing in the same direction. Then we will use direct proportion formula, that is x1 by x2 is equal to y1 by y2. But if this is the opposite, that is one quantity is increasing and the other one is decreasing, or vice versa, then we will use inverse proportion, that is x1 by x2 is equal to y2 over y1. So this is the main point that you should understand, how to analyze your question. If this is clear to you, this chapter is going to be very easy. I hope now this is clear to you whether to apply direct or inverse proportion depending upon the given question. This is all about this video. See you in my next video with the exercise of this chapter. Thank you.